What's going on, guys? This is Danny from Slow Restoration. We're back in the garage this morning. We got our plugs and wires all put back in the motor. So let's get this motor pulled over and we're going to get it put back in that 2000 Chevy Xtreme pickup. Sitting back down in here, it's definitely a little bit of a workout when you're doing it by yourself. You just gotta, there's a lot going on. Even though it's just a V6, it's pretty cramped in here. There's wires everywhere, especially with the EGR, and the secondary air injection. It just makes the motor bigger, takes up more of a footprint. But we got to drop down in there. Now let's get a couple bolts in it and we'll start rerouting the wiring harness and making sure everything's where it needs to be. We'll get this engine hoist unhooked and really making some progress on this install. We got the two motor mount bolts inserted in there, so it is in place. Obviously no transmission on it, so we can still move it around. We need to lay our, like I said, our wiring kind of back in place and just start hooking stuff up. Make sure you have it routed proper before you go too crazy. It always stinks to start hooking stuff up, just unhook it, pull the wiring out and route it a different route. So just make sure everything is where it needs to be, and it's just a matter of plugging stuff back in at this point. Just a little bit of time consuming, kind of tedious, making sure you got stuff where it needs to be. We're making really good progress here. We got most everything hooked back up, bolted up, motor mounts are done, all the wiring's reconnected, alternators back on. I was gonna wait and put my AC compressor back over until I got the radiator back in, because the lines come across here, and same with the fan. The radiator, I actually bought a new one, and of course, it didn't show up today. Guaranteed delivery Wednesday, which today's Wednesday, and I actually paid a few dollars more just to have it. And of course, it's FedEx. It was shipped through, and it looks like it's not going to be delivered now till Friday. So I don't know how they can guarantee delivery and not miss it by 2 days. So that really kind of sucks, because we're kind of on a strict schedule here. So it looks like we're going to be pushing this truck at some point, because this does have an oil cooler. So if we start it up without the radiator in, it's going to spray oil everywhere. And the reason I decided to just go with a new radiator, because they're fairly cheap, and the old motor, like we said, spun a rod bearing. So I definitely know there was contamination in the oil, and that oil cooler that was in the radiator would have had to been flushed out anyway. So it's almost just better to put a new radiator in, start fresh. So yeah, that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. We're gonna finish up as much as we can here and just have the radiator to put back in. And I guess I probably could loop these lines. Maybe we'll end up doing that. I'm not sure yet. Frustrating. We have everything hooked up as far as we can. Now it's time to put that trans back up in there. And again, we're just going to jack it up on the jack, lower the body down, and then trying to get it slid up in there. It's a little difficult to do by yourself. They're not extremely heavy, they're just awkward, and if anything happens, then you gotta set it back down. It's just easier to use a jack. We got our transmission all up in there. Now we just need to hook it. What's going on, guys? This is Danny from Slow Restoration, and it's early and I'm driving. We are going today to Carlisle Fairgrounds for Spring Carlisle to pick up some parts for the 69 Camaro, one of the 69 Camaros I have in the shop today. So let's enjoy the ride. Here's the normal traffic on your way into Carlisle anytime there's an event at the fairground. We're close. Just waiting in line. We have arrived. Now let's get parked. See what we can find. This is Z28. Alright guys, as you can see by the back of the truck, we did pick up some stuff. We got some sheet metal for the Camaro, and we picked up a set of tires for a friend. So, time to head back home. Still moving along here. We got everything pretty much hooked up top, everything hooked up down below. Transmission, all that's done. Drive shaft, everything's hooked up, transmission lines. We're still waiting on, of course, the radiator. We had some stuff to do yesterday, so we're back on it today, but waiting on the radiator. Of course, we're doing the oil change. As soon as the radiator gets here, we can hook it back up and try and fire this thing. So, just waiting on FedEx. And finally, we got the radiator. And as you can see, it's open, and I did not open it. So, it came that way. Let's open it up. Hopefully, it looks good. Looks like it was pretty well packed, so we should be alright. Let's get it slid out of here. Got it slid out here. It looks to be good. Let's drop it down the truck, get this job finished up. And just like that, guys, we have a brand new radiator installed. Went in pretty good. Everything hooked right up. And we can get our bottom part of our fan shroud on, our fan, and then the upper part, our battery tray, and hook up our battery and fire this thing up. Batteries installed, radiators installed, fan shroud, fan. I kind of quickly went over everything. I think we're ready to fire this thing up. Let's try it. That's a good sign. Powered up. Here we go.